what's happening to the U.S. economy is I've been comparing it to a medically induced coma. We have deliberately shut down a number of functions because we have to limit the spread of the virus, and that's painful but necessary. So, where GDP is going to fall a lot in the best of circumstances until we have, at the very minimum, vastly increased testing, what you're talking about before, and then hopefully eventually a vaccine. The big question is whether we contain the collateral damage. When you put somebody into a medically induced coma, you can also do a lot of harm, even if it was necessary, and you want to minimize that. And the way to avoid that is to provide a lot of relief payments to those who are affected, to basically provide a very effective financial safety net. If you don't do that, then it spills over. Then you get a whole second round of job losses, a whole second round of economic contraction and pain because people don't have money, they can't spend, businesses can't operate, and that then starts to spill over. So even you start to lose jobs in parts of the economy that shouldn't be affected by the virus. Where we are right now is that Congress passed a big bill, which was really a disaster relief bill, not a stimulus bill. People are misnaming it, that did some of what was necessary, but was clearly inadequate. And Trump and his allies in Congress are basically balking at doing the things that we now need to do. We're talking about small business. That money is running out, but that's actually the least of it. The front line of the crisis right now is hospitals are going under, state and local governments are in desperate financial straits, the post office is at risk of collapse, and we desperately need money for that. And we're not acting because Mitch McConnell is saying he won't pass a bill that includes aid to these afflicted parts of the economy, which is going to, so we are at risk of turning this into something that is even worse than it has to be.
We've never seen this before, and yet it does seem as though you have a pretty clear view of what economic tools could work if used effectively by the administration.
Yeah, let me say, my colleagues, economists, have been scrambling. This is unprecedented. This does not look like anything we've seen before, although pieces of it look like things we've seen before. But I've been impressed with how quickly serious economists have come to a pretty good, I think, picture of what the issue is. And what it says overwhelmingly is that we need to be spending money freely to make the immediate people, the people who are in the immediate economic path of this disaster, whole as far as we can. We need to sustain wages and incomes. We need to make sure that that lower levels of government don't run out of money. The federal government can borrow as much as it wants. Investors are basically paying it to take their money. So this is where what we should be doing, and it's not a hard problem. Intellectually, it's not a hard problem. The problem is that what I see is that we're reacting now economically in some ways the way we reacted to the emergence of the pandemic, that the administration is refusing to acknowledge the depth of the problem and is trying to pursue an ideological agenda that is getting in the way of dealing with this. And, we're reasonable estimates now say that we are going to be heading within a month or two to an unemployment rate that's probably about as high as it was as in 1933, 1934. We really are talking about a depression level event.